Broncos Country, brace yourselves, because what I'm about to tell you will help you understand why this team is different from everything we've seen in recent years. We're talking about decisions that change the course of an entire season, about a coach who's not afraid to risk it all when the game is on the line, and about a team that's finally showing it came to compete, toe-to-toe with any opponent in the NFL. Stick with me until the end of this video because you're going to discover what really happened behind the scenes of the most important victory of the season and why this completely changes the future of the Denver Broncos. Let's start from the beginning, folks. Fourth quarter in Philadelphia. Tight score. Eagles defending their championship title. Bo Nix just connected a touchdown with Evan Engram, and the team was losing 17-16 with 7 minutes and 43 seconds remaining on the clock. Most coaches in the league would do the obvious, the safe, the predictable. But Sean Payton is not most coaches. This guy is worth $20 million a year precisely for moments like this. What did he do? Called the boldest play he could have called at that moment. 2-point conversion. Flat route to Troy Franklin. Everyone in the stadium knew that was a declaration of war. Mike McGlinchey, the team's veteran right tackle, perfectly summed up everyone's feelings when he said he was surprised by the decision, but loved every second of it. And look, folks, this is exactly the kind of leadership Broncos Country has been waiting for years. Remember those interviews Payton gave in the offseason? That chest puff talk with national reporters? All that bravado some critics said was just empty talk? Well, in a single snap, in a single play, it all made sense. His decision completely changed the course of the season. With a pass that triggered an epic comeback against the reigning champions, the Broncos proved they're back in the big game. Now pay attention to this, because it's important. The numbers, the statistics, all that cold analysis that experts love to do said Payton should have kicked the extra point after that first fourth-quarter touchdown. But the coach held firm, trusted his instincts, and learned from a past mistake. Remember the game against Cincinnati last season? That still hurt. Payton had wavered. The bold coach seemed old that day, sending Will Lutz to kick an extra point that took the game to overtime against Joe Burrow, who was absolutely on fire at that moment. The team had several possessions to win that game, but the decision bit Payton when T. Higgins finished roasting Riley Moss with a touchdown that ended the match. Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, admitted that Cincinnati game may have weighed somewhat on everyone's mind during the preparation week to face the Eagles. But Payton made it clear to the team they had much more to gain than to lose. All chips on the table. Shooters shoot. That's what $20 million per season looks like, folks. Bo Nix perfectly captured the essence when he said the coach trusts his players, and they did the job. Simple as that. Mutual trust. That's what championship teams are made of. Now we jump to London, Wednesday. Payton is talking with the press about avoiding a trap against the Jets, who still haven't won a game, about maintaining the momentum of a team that's clearly the best Broncos team since Peyton Manning led the franchise to a Super Bowl victory. And the coach was enjoying every second of it. As much as a football coach can enjoy when he's not playing golf in Idaho, of course. The team's stretching began with the Tottenham theme song echoing across training field number 8. Payton loves the Spurs training center facilities, which helped dissipate his anger with London's chaotic traffic getting there. The bus trip leaving Lincoln Financial Field was much more pleasant, it must be said. Several Eagles fans made unfriendly gestures toward the Broncos team as they left the stadium after the victory. McGlinchey had a special reason to be happy. Philadelphia is his hometown, so he got to rub that victory in the faces of a bunch of family and friends. And he made a point of thanking the mentality the coach brought to the team. That's the kind of impact Payton has in locker rooms, folks. He makes players believe they can beat anyone, anywhere. Payton arrived in London with a legitimate team. And yes, we can say that after last Sunday without fear of exaggerating. These Broncos are brimming with confidence, every goal within reach with the Chiefs aging and the Chargers weakened by injuries. The AFC West is wide open, and it's time for Denver to seize this window. The coach made the plan clear. He understands the importance of last week's victory considering the opponent, but the objectives haven't changed. First, win the division. Second, improve overall seeding. Third, play for a championship. That's the order of things, and everyone in the locker room buys into this idea. Tell me, Broncos Country, do you remember the last time the team went to London? That was 3 years ago, and it was a complete disaster. That team missed curfew, showed up on game day with mismatched pants and shirts, and after beating the Jaguars at Wembley, lost 6 of the next 7 games. The result? Nathaniel Hackett was fired just 15 games after taking over as head coach. That team had Russell Wilson's high steps, trying to look young. This team has genuinely high expectations. That team was on vacation. This team is staying at the intersection of desolate and nowhere. With no subway nearby, the players only have each other, recreating that college vibe they had during the week at the Greenbrier in West Virginia that put a defibrillator on last season and saved everything. Payton admitted he couldn't point out the direction of the hotel where they're staying, and that's perfectly fine. He's still trying to figure out how to get around that area, and you know what? It's the perfect setup. No distractions, no excuses. That's what $20 million looks like in practice, folks. When Denver enters Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, the crowd will be dressed mostly in orange. Broncos Country will dominate that stadium in a way that's only second to the invasion Bills Mafia usually pulls off. The loudest cheers will be for this team, and after last Sunday, they should be for Payton too. If the coach finally wins his first playoff game since 2020, it'll be a crowning achievement only eclipsed by his first season with the Saints and that Super Bowl victory against the Colts. But he needs to make the Eagles' victory count for something. There's no point winning a big game and then stumbling against weaker teams. Payton turned the Broncos upside down. Now the question is, can he turn this team into something special? Can he follow Bill Parcells' principle that he himself recites to his coaching staff, that there's a way to win every game? Will his ego, which gives the team all this confidence, allow him to coach with freedom like he did against the Eagles? That was the criticism Payton received in recent years in New Orleans, that he was too tight to win another Super Bowl. He gets hot on game day when his default setting is already volcanic. Even Lombardi admitted that on Thursday. When asked if he can joke with the boss after working with him for 15 seasons, the coordinator responded, yes, but it depends on the coach's mood. The Broncos traded dysfunction for discipline. This team has a new face on old success. Now, with the AFC West title being realistic, it's time to make a real run. It's time for Payton to finish the job. How do you put a price on that? And look, Denver Broncos family, we can't forget the whole context. This team went through years of suffering, years of wrong decisions, years of signings that didn't work out, years of coaches who weren't ready for the main stage. And finally, we have a guy in charge who knows exactly what he's doing. Payton isn't perfect. He makes mistakes. He admits when he's wrong. But when it's time to make a decision that can change everything, he's not afraid to pull the trigger. And that's exactly what this team needed. Not a guy who's going to play for the tie. Not a guy who's going to follow the rulebook. We needed a leader who understands that sometimes you need to risk everything to win everything. The defense is playing inspired. The offense is finding its rhythm. Bo Nix is growing every week. The offensive line is protecting better. The receivers are making plays when the team needs them. It's a well-oiled machine starting to function at the right time of the season. The Chiefs are no longer that unbeatable team. Mahomes is aging. The receivers aren't the same. The defense has holes. The Chargers are struggling with injuries throughout the roster. The Raiders are the Raiders. The division is open, and Denver has all the necessary tools to take advantage, but none of that matters if the team stumbles against the Jets. None of that matters if they don't maintain focus. None of that matters if they start believing their own hype without doing the necessary work. Payton knows this. The locker room knows this. And that's why they're training hard in London, isolated from the world, focused only on the next opponent. The trip to England isn't a vacation. It's an opportunity to build chemistry, to strengthen bonds, to remind each other why they do what they do. These guys aren't there to sightsee. They're there to win. They're there to prove that the victory against the Eagles wasn't luck. It was the beginning of something big. If you're true Broncos Country, subscribe to the channel now so you don't miss any moment of this magical season. McGlinchey talked about how special it was to win in his hometown. Imagine the feeling of every player in that locker room after that game. They didn't just beat the defending champions. They dominated in the fourth quarter. They were bold when they needed to be. They executed when everything was on the line. That's the kind of victory that defines seasons, and Payton deserves all the credit. $20 million a year seems like a lot of money. But when you stop to think about what he's brought to this franchise, the culture change, the winning mentality, the courage to make tough decisions, suddenly that amount doesn't seem so absurd. How many coaches in the league would have the guts to go for that two-point conversion? How many would trust a rookie quarterback in that moment? How many would believe in the offensive line to give enough time? How many would bet on the receiver making the play? Not many, folks. Not many. That's the difference between a good coach and a great coach. The good ones follow the manual. The great ones write new chapters. Payton is rewriting the Broncos narrative one play at a time. And Broncos Country is loving every second of it. The game against the Jets in London won't be easy. Winless teams are dangerous. They're desperate. They have nothing to lose. They'll play with an urgency that only comes when your back is against the wall. But the Broncos can't afford to look past this opponent. The preparation on English soil has been impeccable. Tottenham's facilities are first class. The isolation is working in the team's favor. Everyone is bought into the idea that this game is as important as the one against the Eagles. There's no such thing as an easy game in the NFL. There's no opponent you can underestimate. Payton has been hammering this into the players' heads. He uses examples from the past. He shows videos of teams that fell into traps. He reminds everyone what happened the last time the Broncos went to London. Nobody wants to repeat that experience. Nobody wants to be the team that beat the champions and then lost to a winless opponent. The AFC is completely open this year. There's no clear dominator. There's no team you look at and think is unbeatable. That means any team that enters the playoffs with momentum has real chances to go far. And the Broncos are building exactly that kind of momentum now. Every victory matters. Every game is an opportunity to prove something. Every week is a chance to grow as a team. And with Payton in command, you feel they're heading in the right direction. You feel there's a plan. You feel the future is bright. The defense has been the foundation of this team all year. They keep the Broncos in every game. They make stops when needed. They create turnovers at the right moments. And now, the offense is starting to find consistency too. When both sides of the ball are playing well, this team can compete with anyone. Bo Nix deserves a lot of credit too. The kid is maturing quickly. He's not trying to do too much. He's trusting the system. He's making the right reads. He's taking care of the ball. And when the play is there to be made, he's not hesitating. That two-point conversion against the Eagles was executed perfectly. Zero fear, zero hesitation. Just pure execution. The offensive line has been a revelation. After years of problems in that area, it finally seems Denver has a group that can protect the quarterback and open holes in the run game. McGlinchey has been a leader. The guys around him are elevating their games. And when the offensive line is playing well, everything becomes easier for the offense. The receivers are making plays. The running backs are producing. The tight ends are contributing. It's a balanced offense that's getting more dangerous every week. And with Payton calling the plays, you never know what's coming next. He keeps defenses guessing. He's not afraid to be creative. He uses the entire playbook. Tell me, Broncos Country, what do you think of this run? Do you believe this team can really compete for the division title? Comment down below because I want to know each one of your opinions. The moment is now. The window is open. The Broncos have the right coach. They have the necessary talent. They have the belief. They have the momentum. Now it's just a matter of executing week after week. Not stumbling, not relaxing. Not believing the work is done when there's still so much ahead. London will be a test. Playing on another continent is never easy. Jet lag is real. The routine is different. But this team is prepared. Payton ensured that. They arrived early, acclimated, trained at the right facilities, did everything the right way. Now it's just a matter of going out there and executing on Sunday. Tottenham Hotspur Stadium will be buzzing. The atmosphere will be electric. And when that team takes the field in orange and blue, it'll be a sea of Broncos Country making noise. These players will feel that energy. They'll feed off it. And they'll use it as fuel to dominate that game from start to finish. The Jets will play hard. They won't give anything away for free. But if the Broncos play the football, they're capable of playing. If they execute like they executed against the Eagles, if they maintain focus and discipline, they'll leave London with another victory in their pocket and more confidence in the locker room. And then the conversation really starts to get serious. And then you start looking at the schedule and thinking about possibilities. And then you start dreaming about January and February. And then you start believing that maybe, just maybe, this is the everything comes together. Payton is proving he's worth every penny. $20 million doesn't just buy tactical knowledge. It buys leadership. It buys courage. It buys experience. It buys the ability to make tough decisions in the most important moments. And against the Eagles, he showed all of that and more. Now he needs to maintain it. He needs to continue being bold when necessary. He needs to continue trusting his players. He needs to continue making those calls that separate the good from the great. And if he does that, if this team continues growing, if Broncos Country continues supporting, who knows where this season can end? The potential is there. The talent is there. The leadership is there. Now it's just a matter of realizing that potential, of transforming promise into production, of converting hope into results. And with Payton in command, you have to believe they have every chance to do exactly that. So, Denver Broncos family, are you ready for this journey? Are you ready to believe again? Are you ready to support this team every step of the way? Because they're going to need you. They're going to need that energy. They're going to need that unconditional support that only Broncos Country can give. Hit the like button if you believe in this team. Share it with all your friends who bleed orange and blue. And comment down below telling me what you think the result of the game against the Jets will be. I read all the comments and love seeing your passion for this franchise. This is the moment we've been waiting for. This is the team we wanted. This is the coach we needed. Now let's enjoy every second of this journey because these opportunities don't come around every year. Broncos Country deserves this. Go Broncos!